Morning. Sorry for the delay. We had a technical issue, but we have it all sorted out now, so we're ready to go. Thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate all your support. And we are going to, I'm starting to try to figure out exactly what I'm going to call this show. And you guys see I changed the title. If you noticed from yesterday, I changed the title. So how about Motivation Monday? I think we're going to start doing that. And we'll just talk about daily news. We'll talk about daily news. And if you guys have questions, you can ask me questions and we'll go from there. We'll talk a little bit about the stock market, of course. I always like to get my Mondays going by having a cup of coffee and checking out the stock market. So we'll go ahead and do all those things today. So like I said, it's an open forum though, so you guys can ask me anything, and we'll discuss certain topics. And occasionally, when there are news stories that are relevant, I won't say relevant, that are big news items to talk about, then we'll definitely talk about those as well. So, what I can ask of you guys, what I can ask, I can't talk this morning. The one thing that I can ask you guys to do for me is to hit the like button. That would help promote this video out to others. Thank you guys all for being here. I'm going to do shout outs in a minute. So make sure you let me know that you are here and where you're coming from, and we'll give you a shout out. All right. Now I have a little different setup today. I'm constantly working on this setup, so we're going to continue to improve. And I can now, I do have a teleprompter if I can get this thing to work. I do have a teleprompter so I can see what's going on in the chat on screen without having to look away. I'm looking away now because I'm trying to get this thing to work. But ideally, that is the way this is supposed to work. Okay, here we go. All right. Bearings here. Okay, here we go. Large. Perfect. All right, now I can see everything right in the screen. So now I don't have to lose eye contact with you guys. I can see you in my screen in front of me. So let me know where you guys are coming from, and we'll do some shout outs, and then we'll get started with the show. Mark says all lies. I don't know what this is all about. Okay. If you guys have a question specifically for me, put at TEC or at the TEC show. If you put at the TEC show, just so you guys know how this works, it will light up for me. So I'll see kind of an indicator letting me know that you're asking me a question or directing something to me. So just so you know how that works. A lot of times people don't know, or they say, oh, you didn't see my question. You didn't ask my question, answer my question. Well, one situation could be that I just missed it, or there's so many questions that are coming up that I'm kind of skimming through and I'm not able to answer every question. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you do put at the TEC show, it's going to light up, so I'll be able to see that you're directing a question specifically for me. All right, so let's go ahead and do some shout outs here. Lily, what's going on? Leah, thank you for being here. Mark Smith, thank you for being here. Let's see who else is in the building. Rain, what's going on, Rain? Saw you here last time. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate that. Scarlett, thank you for being here. Maggie, thank you for being here. Michelle, thank you for joining us. Tawana, thank you for being here. Karen, thank you for showing up. Yo-Yo, what's going on, Yo-Yo? Debbie, thank you for being here. Harriet Reed, thank you for being here. Valerie, I really like this screen now. This is great because I can just look and read it right off almost off the camera, basically. Kiana, thank you for being here. All right. Beachy, thank you for being here. We already said what's up to Rain. And Rocky, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. Travis, thank you for being here. I might have skipped a few because it's now starting to move a little faster here. Wilma, thank you for being here. Mary, thank you for being here. Faye, all of you guys, thank you for being here. DJ, what's going on? Thank you for being here. All right, at the TEC show this morning. Okay, so questions. If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and put them out there. I will talk a little bit about what's going on in this infrastructure talk. And then I'm going to show you the motivation quote of the day. Well, I guess we'll start doing that. But as far as the infrastructure bill, let's talk about that really quickly. And I know some of you are saying, infrastructure bill, why do I care about this infrastructure bill? Well, this is something that you should really be concerned about. And the main reason that you should be concerned about it is because this could mean that you have to pay more money at the pump. Okay, when you pump your gas, or if you have an electric vehicle, you might have to pay some type of a mileage fee, mileage tax. So this is important, definitely important, something to really focus on. So what is going on is this discussion has been going on as far as this infrastructure bill for years now. And I'm telling you, at the tail end of the Bush administration, they were talking about infrastructure. And then when President Obama became president, talked about infrastructure. And then we had President Trump talking about infrastructure. We've had this talk for years, okay, over 20 years, and nothing has happened. And that's because you have politicians going back and forth saying, no, we want to do it this way. No, we want to do it this way. We want to pay for it this way. We want to pay for it. And it never goes anywhere. So now we have an opportunity because of the fact that you have the Democrats. Usually what will happen if you have one party in control, and that's what we have right now. We have one party that's in control of everything, the Senate, the House, and the presidency. Usually you'll get something that will come of that. Meaning that some significant bill will get passed, whether it be through reconciliation or they just have the numbers in order to pass a bill. And that's what we're looking at right now. We have an opportunity to see something significant get passed. We saw it in the Trump administration. It was the same thing. They had the tax cut. Okay, in 2017, they had control of everything. And so they were able to move that through reconciliation. And so now we're looking at the Biden administration. They also have an opportunity. They got past, they got the stimulus package. They got that passed. Now we're looking at an infrastructure bill that could potentially get passed in the coming weeks. So we're going to have to follow it and see where it goes. But the important thing for you guys to know is that you have politicians right now talking about how to pay for this. And that's going to be the problem, because the how to pay for it could cost you money. And you have two sides. You have the White House. The White House is focused on raising this corporate tax rate. And so raising that corporate tax rate up from 21% to 28%, or maybe more like 25%, because that's what Senator Manchin, who's a Democrat, he's expressed the willingness to go to 25%, but not the willingness to go to 28%. And so that's what the White House is looking at, or that's what the Democrats are looking at, how to pay for this this infrastructure bill. However, you have Republicans on the other side. They're trying to make this bill bipartisan, and the Republicans are saying, look, you know what? We think we should repurpose money from the stimulus package. So this last stimulus package that we saw go through, the $1.9 trillion, there's $350 billion going to state and local governments. We want to repurpose some of that funding, or at least allow states to repurpose some of that funding to fix roads and bridges. And so that's one of the ways that they want to pay for it. And then also it's still up in the air as far as increasing the gas tax, or I should say, looking at a mileage tax for electric vehicles. So that's what we're looking at right now. Now that can, if they do go that route, that could mean that you're going to be paying more money at the pump. All right, so we finally have the market open. Let me flip over to this so you guys can see what's going on. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, we have to do the quote. So the motivational quote: small progress is still progress. And I think that is spot on. And I am going to tell you a story about my Bitcoin purchase. I bought some I bought some Bitcoin, and I did this. This is probably a year and a half ago. We're going to talk. Now, I didn't own a full Bitcoin, okay? Never got to that point. But I do want to talk about just the small progress thing, just putting a little bit in Bitcoin at a time. So I initially started off, I think I started off with maybe $600. This was back when Bitcoin was around, it was hovering from 3,000 to 6,000, right? So I started with about $600. I put that in on Coinbase. So Coinbase is kind of a brokerage for cryptocurrency. And so got a little Bitcoin, and then every month automatically out of my bank account, I had money come out of my bank account and go into Bitcoin. Not a large amount, just small amount. And so I did that for a year and a half, and I just forgot about it. I didn't put any more money in Bitcoin as far as like a big lump sum. I just let that every month, a little bit of money going into Bitcoin. And would you believe, which we all know, Bitcoin is now, I think it's trading at around $40 or $40. Wow, 40,000. But just doing that, little by little, I was able to sell. I sold Bitcoin probably about a month ago, and I took $10,000 out of that. Okay, and that was just putting a little bit of money in every month, not even thinking about it, and just watching Bitcoin as it goes up, and was able to take out a little bit of money. And so, I mean, it's one of those things where moving forward, just a little bit of progress is progress, and you will see it. You will see those returns. All right, let's pull up our. Here we go. Now we have our screen here so you guys can see what I'm looking at, because things start getting hectic as soon as the market opens, and we definitely see a lot of activity. Now, this is AMC. I will have it on AMC most of the day, or most of this morning, because I do like to watch AMC because I do have shares in AMC. And so I like to see what's going on with AMC. I am one of the people that did get in, I guess, when it comes to AMC. I think people now are a little afraid to get in, but I got in early on. So I'm just watching and hoping that it goes higher and higher. We'll just have to see. But nonetheless, when it comes to these oh God, I just lost my train of thought. It's hard because you see that green bar moving up. That's hard to focus because I'm thinking, keep going. All right. So as far as motivation, now, if you guys know of any quotes or have quotes, don't put them in the chat, because I want to be able to share these quotes with other people in the future. Okay. Or with the audience in the future, I should say. So in the comment section after this video, in the comment section, I don't think you could put a comment right now while there's a live stream, but after this video, please come back, put a comment in there with motivational quotes, and we'll share some of those motivational quotes in future live streams. All right, so we're up at about $62. So that is a good start. We're up about 4%. Yeah. Good morning so far. Now, the way that this works, and you see it just continuing to climb, the way that this works is this is the most volatile time, at least the first 15 minutes. That's why I like to come on right when the market opens, and we'll watch the volatility for the first 15 to 20 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty volatile. It's moving. All right, let's go into some of the questions. If you guys have questions, we're going to take a look right now. And let's see. What do we have? So if you have a question for me, at TEC or at the TEC show. Yeah, people are upset with Mitch McConnell right now, but you know what? When it comes down to it, this is something that Democrats can do on their own if they can convince Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema. Those are kind of the people that are, I won't say, those are the people that need the most convincing. So if they can convince those two, they could move with budget reconciliation, but that's something that they're going to have to do. Now, Mitch McConnell has no desire to work with Democrats. He just doesn't, because he knows if he can just be an obstructionist, then possibly he can regain his leadership in the Senate. So that is his angle there. So yeah, he's not going to want to work with anyone anyway. We saw that all last year when it came to the second half of last year when it came to the stimulus package. He didn't want to move forward with it, and I think it cost him his leadership ultimately. But yeah, he's probably not going to want to move on anything. All right. Okay, so I have, you know what? I need to take this out. Okay. Yeah, I have this Streamlabs thing that's on here, and it's giving old information. So, and I keep forgetting to turn it off before I start. And so once it's on, it's gonna continue to go. So I'll have to. I guess you know what? I could block my Streamlabs thing, and then it won't come on anymore. Melissa, good morning from Alabama. Good morning. Okay, guys, any questions? Let's see. Why should the taxpayers for the reps to pay? Okay. All right. So Mary's saying, why should taxpayers I'm guessing you're saying the politicians, the representatives, to pay them to take a whole month of August off. This is why no work gets done. Yeah, so when it comes to the August recess, yes, there is an August recess, and that's why things need to get done in July. Everything needs to be done in July. If not, then they're going to push into August. And when I say they're going to push into August, there's a possibility because you have Nancy Pelosi's the speaker, so she controls the House, and then you have Chuck Schumer who controls the Senate. So Nancy Pelosi could easily say, look, we're not going on recess unless we get this done, if she really wants to move forward with this infrastructure bill. And if she does that, that will be a motivator. Okay, just like, I mean, we're all human. If we're working and our boss tells us, hey, you need to get this done before you go home, or you're not going home on time, you better believe people are going to do everything that they can to get something done. So that could actually work if we're still talking about this right before August. That could be a real motivating factor there, the fact that no one will be going on recess unless they get this done. So we'll have to follow it and see where that goes. Okay. Hey, Trey, what's going on? Oh, let's see. Gladys. Yeah, Gladys is saying McConnell said that he was not going to pass anything that Biden administration wanted to do. Yes, he did say that. So he is, and like I said, he has no motivation too. This is one of the big problems that I have with our two-party government. Okay, and that is that if one party is in power, the other party is doing everything they can to gain power. So they're going to do or want to do the opposite of what that person, that group in power is doing. And so because of that, it just makes for a government where nothing gets done. And we'll see, you also see, if you do have one party that's in power, they will do, they'll get done what they can get done. And then and when that other party regains power, then what do? They try to tear down or break apart everything that the other administration did. So it just keeps going back and forth. We're not moving forward. We're just moving sideways. Valerie, what's going on? Aloha again. Yes, I'll be in Hawaii in 2 weeks. So do you think we're almost done with this pandemic? I hope so. I live in California. California just opened back up, completely opened up June 15th. So I'm hoping things are on the right track and we're all moving forward. I did get vaccinated. I know that's a personal choice, but I thought it was the right choice for me. And so there are other people that got vaccinated. So I think that we're in a situation now where we're much safer as a community as a whole. And I think that the biggest fear that and reasons for the shutdowns and things like that were mainly, and this is just my opinion, but I think mainly it was because of the fact that hospitals were getting, they were being packed to capacity, basically. And so that was the big fear. Now, not only is COVID, are people getting sick with COVID and having to go to the hospital, but now you have no hospital beds available for anyone. So whether you have COVID or not, I mean, let's face it, people were having other issues, not just COVID. And so now that I think that the hospitals have definitely been able to have beds available, now I think the government is opening up, and I should say the governments, because we're talking about state and local governments, because if you look at how things run, the state and local governments are the ones that were controlling the shutdowns and things like that. It wasn't the federal government. Okay, I need to block myself so this thing will stop coming out. Yes, we're gonna hide that so we won't see that anymore. The Streamlabs thing, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Alrighty. So looking at the stock market still, you see that big dip. Wow. Now that's still, believe it or not, with that big dip, we're still looking at almost a 2% gain on the day. So it'll settle down in probably another 15 minutes. I would think it's going to start settling down a little bit more, but that first 15 minutes, it's just a lot of people either selling off, people that have waited this whole weekend and they say, okay, I need to get in the market and sell off, or we shouldn't have a lot. If you have, because when it comes to AMC, there are a lot of people who are very adamant about holding AMC, like holding the stock, not selling. I'm one of them. I'm not selling. I'm holding until the end of this squeeze. So there are a lot of people, and you hear that the phrase diamond hands, there are a lot of people that own AMC stock that are not selling. But you do have hedge funds that are trying to maneuver around their shorts. Okay, so they've shorted the stock, and now they're trying to figure out how they're going to cover their shorts, basically. So that could be some of the volatility. And then also you have day traders. You have people that just get in and they buy a stock when it's high, and then they sell off. And so we might be seeing some day traders. Usually early in the morning, you're seeing day traders, swing traders that are potential or possibly selling off stock. Okay, let's see here. Gladys from Western New York. Western New York. Where exactly is? I'm just trying to think on the map here. Western New York. What's out there? I've only been to New York once, and I'd never been to New York City. I've actually only been upstate New York. Alrighty. Okay, so Rain has a question about, well, I don't know why I'm still looking at this screen here. I have it right in front of me. Let's see. How can you start a stock portfolio? Well, I mean, it's relatively simple. You just go, you need a brokerage basically. So you can use Webull, you can use, I was going to say Robinhood, but I would say you could use Webull, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard. You can use different platforms like that. And I will tell you, I have Fidelity, I have Charles Schwab, and I have Webull. Now I use Webull. You guys are looking at it right now. That's the platform. I like their platform, their software. It's pretty seamless in how it works. But most of my portfolio is on Charles Schwab. Okay. And I like that because Charles Schwab is an actual bank. Fidelity is an actual bank. And so I like that because now I can have a checking account as well as have a brokerage account and have a debit card and all that. So it's easier to transfer money out of the brokerage because it's an actual bank. So I like that. Plus, it has other benefits that a bank has. So I like that as well. But you just need to start a broker. You just need to open up an account, and once you get that account going, then you can start trading or you can start investing. I would recommend investing. Trading is when we talk about trading, that's more the day trader, swing trader. That kind of stuff. But when it comes to investing, that's long term. So I'm investing in stocks that I know are going to be around. Are companies that are going to be around, like solid companies. So that is what I have to say about that. I keep losing my place here. Mary, thank you, my friend, and good morning to everyone. Good morning. Chris is in Seattle. Thank you for being here, Chris. Hey, Gladys, what part of Buffalo? Okay, so I was upstate. I was near Buffalo. Somewhat near Buffalo. Because I considered going to Buffalo because I am a Buffalo Bills fan. So that's one thing that you guys might not know about me. But when it comes to football, Buffalo Bills, that's my team. Even though I've never been to Buffalo. But I've always liked the team. All right. So things to anticipate happening this week, or not anticipate, things that will be happening this week. At least one thing that's going to be big happening in the news is we're looking at Senator Manchin. He has a revision, or he has his plan for the voter rights bill. And so the majority leader, Chuck Schumer in the Senate, he is going to bring this to the floor. So they will have a vote on Tuesday. Now, this is really important because Senator Manchin, he's trying to make this bipartisan. He wants everything to be bipartisan. So he wants Republicans to come on board with Democrats and move forward with these bills. So we're talking about the infrastructure bill. We're talking about this voter rights bill, and potentially they could be revisiting the January 6th commission. And they're trying to get this bipartisan, or at least Senator Manchin is trying to make this bipartisan, but he might have a wake-up call because this voter rights bill, it's starting to look like, because Mitch McConnell has already indicated this, and we've heard other senators already. Senator Portman was on yesterday, and he said he's not in support of this new voter rights bill. and the one that Senator Manchin is putting forward. And so because of that, Senator Manchin might have a loss right here where he sees maybe the reality will sink in that, look, we have two parties that are not going to want to work together. They're just not going to work together for these different bills. And so maybe we should either get rid of the filibuster, which is one talk, or reduce the amount of people who need to reduce the amount of senators who need to vote for a bill in order for it to move forward. That could be another thing. Right now, you need 60 votes. They're talking about maybe reducing that to maybe 55 votes. So make it bipartisan, but just lower that threshold, because 60 at this point is it's just not working. It's just not working. So we'll have to see what they do with that. But all in all, this is going to be key. So Tuesday, stay tuned for that. You're definitely going to hear. I'll be following it. I'll be putting some videos out about it, as well as you're going to hear it all over the news. This voter rights bill, because everyone is going to be looking to see if Republicans are going to work with Democrats and vote for this bill. At this point, the way it looks like it's not going to pass, but it will be a sign of maybe at the end of the filibuster, or maybe just reconciliation for this next infrastructure bill. Okay. All right, guys, any questions? Go ahead and put them in the chat. And wow, we've dropped a lot. Well, not a lot. We're still at about 1.5% increase on the day, and starting to move up. We're starting to looks like it's pretty flat now. Now, if you guys look down here where I have the cursor, see the cursor's up here. I move it down here. This is called the RSI. Okay, this is a good barometer. It will show you where the candlesticks, these candlesticks up here, it'll show you where they're going. So if this is down where it's pretty low here in the 30s, if it goes under 30, it's going to drop below here, and that means that the stock is really going to tank. What that means is that there's a sell-off. Okay, so the stock is oversold. Now, what we want to see it rise. We want to see it up at the top here. If it goes over 70, that means it's overbought. That means you have more buyers in the market than sellers, and that will push that stock sky high. So we want it to start moving up, not where it is. Now you see it's just going sideways right now, which means the candlesticks will reflect that by moving sideways. So just a little bit for you guys. I don't know how much you guys are into stocks and investing, but I highly recommend that you consider investing, and you don't have to start with a lot. Remember the quote that we started with. You don't have to start with a lot, but anything is progress. So that's $10 a month. That's still progress towards something. So you don't have to start with a lot of money, but I highly encourage people to start investing. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to invest in, but I think it's something that will help you in the long run. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I forgot to put my little thing up here. I don't actually, I don't have it up here. Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just telling you from my experience, investing, it's been positive. Now, it's not always positive. You can lose money in the stock market. We know that. So just be aware of that. But I think if you do go with ETFs, if you do go with some mutual funds, you're probably going to be safe. And if you look at large companies that are very successful, and we all know those companies, you'll probably be okay. But like I said, this is not financial advice. Okay, don't take what I'm saying and go who was asking me about the brokerage, but don't take what I'm saying and go and start, buying all these different stocks. Make sure you do your research. Okay, very, very important. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so Z's asking the difference between investors and trading. Or traders. So a trader, and I said this a few minutes ago, but a trader is a day trader. So day traders are trading each day. They're trading volatile stocks. They're trying to make a quick profit. Swing traders is the same way. They're trying to make a quick profit on a swing of a trade. Okay, so they're watching, just like we're watching this trade right now. Or we're watching the stock right now, we're watching it go all the way down, and now a day trader would be thinking, you know what, I can take this swing up here, and so I can buy it when it's low, and then swing up to the top here. And it might only swing maybe 50 cents or $1, but when you're buying multiple shares, thousands of shares, well, it makes a huge difference in how much money that you'll be bringing in. And so that's what trading is. Now, investing is something more long-term. Those are ETFs. Those are the mutual funds. Those are the solid companies that have had years of positive growth. So you're looking at the fundamentals. You're not just trading a stock based on the volatility. You're trading on a stock because you know that stock is solid. That company is solid. So that's what investors do. And we have people investing our money all the time. If you have a 401k, if you have a 457 plan, that's what they're doing. They're investing your retirement. I know it's scary, but that's what they're doing. Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys? We're going to be on for about 5 more minutes. And generally what I'll do is I'll come on. We'll be on for about 6:15 to 7-ish. That's kind of the plan. So every Monday we're going to come in. We'll do a motivational Monday. We'll look at a quote, and then we'll talk about some of the news that's happening. Now, I will be putting out 2 videos today. I'll be putting out a video this morning, as well as in the afternoon. I'll be putting out another video. This morning's video is going to be focused mainly on this infrastructure bill, and then in the afternoon we're going to do more of a travel credit card video. Now, I do talk about travel credit cards as well. This is something I just want to share with you, things that I've done that have really helped me. And believe it or not, getting credit cards has really helped me. And when I'm not just talking about regular credit cards, I'm actually talking about credit cards where you earn points. So you can earn points for cash back, you can earn points for travel. That has really helped me. It's allowed me to travel the world. And for a very small, very tiny amount of money, I can travel anywhere at a moment's notice. If I wanted to travel somewhere in the let's say this weekend coming up, I can book my travel today, and it will cost me maybe $80 to $100. And that's the reality. And I've gotten it to that point now where I have points earned up, and I just wait for trips. Especially during the pandemic, I didn't go anywhere. And so now I have a lot of points built up. So the only problem right now, and I haven't really hit this yet because I'm just starting to get back out there and starting to travel, but things are really expensive for travel. I mean, it's getting out of hand because you have a huge demand of people who want to travel. And so now you have airlines, the airfares are more expensive, hotels more expensive, because everyone wants to get out and travel at the same time. I mean, it's summer, and so people just want to be out and they want to forget about what happened last year. And so because of that, the prices of everything is very, very expensive. I mean, it's I'm going to Hawaii in 2 weeks, and rental cars, you can't find them. You cannot find rental cars. Like we were able to get in early, so we were able to get a rental car, but you cannot book a rental car in Hawaii right now. At least in Kauai, you can't. They're not available. And people have been doing hacks where instead of I have a friend of mine that will be going to Hawaii as well, and he was saying that he rented a moving truck. Basically, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but he rented a moving truck, and it's like a pickup truck, but it's a moving truck. And so that's what he's going to be driving around in. That's the hack, because there are no rental cars available. And it's not just because there are a lot of people going to Hawaii, but a lot of those vehicles that were in Hawaii, they shipped to the mainland. And they shipped it to the mainland because they didn't have anyone using the car. So they were just sitting there. It's better to ship them to the mainland. That way they could at least get some use out of them, or sell them, or whatever they wanted to do with them. But during the pandemic, you didn't have that many people. If Hawaii shut down, you don't have people going to Hawaii on trips. So yeah, it's pretty crazy right now when it comes to travel. And I do want to follow that. So I'll definitely continue to put out videos. Now, it doesn't mean I'm leaving and I'm not going to talk about the infrastructure bill. I'm not going to talk about this American Families Plan, which could potentially provide, I hate saying it like this, but could potentially provide stimulus, for the American people. Now, it's at this point, it's not on the table as far as stimulus checks. They are not on the table. Let me say that. However, there are some things that are in this American Families Plan that will help a lot of people. And there could be a potential where we see politicians really start talking more about a potential stimulus, more stimulus. And so we'll have to see, and we're watching right now. We're watching the economy. If the economy starts going down, in the wrong direction, then you might see some more assistance for businesses, some more assistance for Americans when it comes to stimulus. So we'll just have to follow that and see where it goes. But at this point, that's where we are. Who is this? Janine, the bills suck. I'm not even going to read the rest of what you're saying here. They don't know how to utilize good players. Yeah, you know what? And I've been a Bills fan for 20 years. So back when they were, let's just put it this way. I'm a fan for life. So I'm not one of those people that's going to be a fan and then, they're not doing well, so I'm going to jump to another team. Actually, I've been a Bills fan for about 35 years, now that I think about it. But I'm not going to jump from team to team. So I've been a loyal fan back in the late 80s, early 90s when they were doing really well every year. I was there, even though they never won a Super Bowl. I was still a fan. And so, like I said, I'm a fan for life. I'm not one of those people that, I'm a fan in the good times, but in the bad times, I don't talk about them anymore. No, that's not me. All right. Carlene, good morning. Good morning. Okay. All right, guys, any questions? Please put them in the chat. We're going to be on about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to take off. I'm almost done with actually, I got cups now. You guys can see this. Let me see if I can show that to the screen. Now, I'm not selling these yet. I'm actually testing them out. So anything, if I ever sell any type of merchandise, I'm going to make sure I test it and it's legit. And so this is a metal, I don't know, aluminum or whatever it is, cup. But I like to test it. When I say test it, I mean I'm going to take it out and use it for a while to make sure it's quality. If it's not quality, I'm not going to be selling it. I'm not going to be selling it. So this is a test. I got a few of them, and we'll see how they turn out. And then maybe in the future you'll see them for sale. Let's see. Harriet saying, thank you for the straight talk. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know what? When it comes down to it, and I'm going to leave with this, and let's come back to our main screen here. So when it comes down to the stimulus package and stimulus checks and stuff like that, I've been very reluctant to talk about it as of like a month ago. I was still talking about it. We were still hearing news, and we were still talking about the third stimulus check. So we were still giving people information about that. But now, as of late, there's nothing on the table when it comes to a fourth stimulus check. However, you still hear people talking about this fourth stimulus check like it's coming in July. And I've actually heard people say it's coming in July. And that's pretty frustrating when you are a content creator and you're listening to people talk about something that you know is not coming in July, but they're saying it's coming. That's pretty frustrating. And so I want to always keep it straight with you guys. So if there's something that's on the table, I'll let you know. Yes, this is what's on the table right now. But right now, it is not on the table. And you do have politicians that are in favor of stimulus checks. Yes, you do have politicians in favor of it. However, just because they're in favor of something doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that they're putting it on the table. We saw this with the $200 raise for Social Security. We saw this with the $15 an hour minimum wage. We saw something that was on the table. Hazard pay. Hazard pay was on the table. It actually went through the House. It was approved. It went to the Senate, and guess what? It was taken off the table in the Senate. And so I don't want to get people's hopes up when it comes to stuff like this, because we've even seen, like I said, we've seen things that haven't been on the table or that were mentioned and then never mentioned again, or not mentioned much again. The $15 an hour minimum wage, the raise for Social Security, you don't hear about it anymore. Hazard pay, we've seen something on the table that was taken off the table. So this is a long process, unfortunately. And because it's a long process, we're in the early stages. And if you hear politicians, right now there's about 80 politicians that are in favor of another stimulus check. But that's it. You need a lot more than 80, okay, in order to move forward with anything. And we see what's going on in the Senate right now. They're struggling to get 50 votes, basically, and with this infrastructure bill, just the infrastructure bill, not talking about the second infrastructure bill, just talking about the first. They're struggling to get 50 votes. And I say that because the Democrats basically are struggling to get 50 votes. They need 50 votes in order to do reconciliation. If they had those 50 votes, they would not be negotiating with Republicans right now. They just wouldn't. So if you had Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema on board for an infrastructure bill that the White House wants, then there's no reason to negotiate at that point with Republicans. But they do not have those votes. That's the reality. And so President Biden is trying to try to make this bipartisan in the hopes of one of two things. The Republicans completely show that they don't want to negotiate, which could potentially happen with this voter rights bill. They show that they don't want to negotiate. That's one. Or Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin, I just forgot their names. Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin realized, look, you know what? I think we are going to have to go alone. And they just start moving on their own, as far as the Democrats start moving on their own to move forward with something. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Wow, we are. If you can see right behind me, and let me see over here. Look at that. That is not what you want to see. That is definitely not what you want to see. So we are down right now about 0.5%. So it's not that bad, but it is definitely going in the wrong direction. All right, so let's see. We are going to take off. All right, we got a bunch of people. Let's see. Good morning, Tina. Thank you for being here. All right, any other questions? One more minute, and then we're going to take off. And every Monday we're going to do Motivational Monday. Okay, so we'll just talk about the daily news, any significant news we're gonna discuss, as well as we'll have the stock market going in the background, so you guys can check that out, and then I'll answer questions, and then I will tell you about what we have planned for the week. And I went over that, so we have 2 videos today. I do a video a day, so today we're gonna do 2. We'll have a bonus video. All right, anything? All right. What? Let me look at something. All right, guys, if you can do me one favor before you leave, hit the like button. And if you are new here and you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And we will be back on, well, you're going to see 2 videos from me today. I already said that. I know I keep saying the same thing over and over. You know what's really hard? It's hard to talk and just have something that you see on the side, the stock, you know. Yeah, it's hard because I have money invested, so it's very distracting when you see something like that. And you're like, oh my God, it's going down, it's going down. It's not going in the right direction. And let's look at. I just want to show you that right before we go. We'll show you this. So, yeah, this is what scares me. We have this downward trend, and that is scary. So those touch points there. And if you guys want to know what I'm looking at, that one, we can look at this one right here and see what we want. So we needed to break this point right here, okay? And if you're looking, you have different support lines, and it's just going to continue to drop. If it doesn't break, it almost broke. You see here, it almost broke through this level here. Once we get that break, then we'll see it move up a little bit. But at this point, I don't know if we're at the bottom of the support line. And if we're not, here's our support line right here. We need it to break this way. We need it to go this way, and it's not. So right now we have, we need it to look like that. But right now it is not doing that. So I don't know. We'll trend down, it looks like, a little bit, and then maybe it'll start a correction. This looks like it's bottomed out here. So it does look like this is a good support. So we might see it just start trading sideways. So we'll just trade like that, and then hopefully we'll get a boop. We'll get a jump up from that. Basically, what I like to say is right now the stock is resting. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you guys all for being here. Really appreciate it. And I want to make these. I used to really get all wanting to make it like a professional production. But I think now I just want to have more of a, I just noticed that my little EEC logo thing is covering my face. I just noticed that. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to move my little picture over somewhere else because it's being covered up. Anyway, yeah, I just want to make this informal. Okay, so this is a Monday morning. Got my cup of coffee. We're just talking. we're talking, I'm answering questions, we're taking a look at the stock market, and we're talking about things to motivate. That's it. That's what I want to make this. I don't want to make it this big old production where I have all these set stories that we're going to talk about and all that. I just don't want to do that. So that's the way that I want to have this structure. So anyway, thank you guys for all being here. Please hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys later on today in a couple of videos. And I'm probably going to do a video that's a premiere. So what that means is you can come in the chat and we can chat back and forth. So at least one of those videos will be a premiere. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.